So how do you doing, guys? I'm back. Yeah, we're gonna do another video. I promise you that today I was going to do a couple of videos, maybe actually three or even more if I have the time, just to talk about some subject that are currently pretty hot and heavy on the social media network, right? So what are we going to talk about today? I mean, we're going to try to lay to rest that question that people are talking all the time. I mean, about Jon Jones, how Jon Jones is the GOAT, how Jon Jones would beat Francis Ngannou as fast as he has beaten Cyril Gane, how Jon Jones never lost, and all that stuff. I mean, you got so many people writing on Jon Jones DICK that it's not even funny anymore, right? It's just like people forget who Jon Jones really is, right? And I mean, when you see guys like Chael Sonnen, you see Brandon Schaub talking about Jon Jones like if he was almost Jesus Christ walking on water, it begs for some questions. It begs for some understanding of the reason why all of a sudden Jon Jones is portrayed as a saint, as Mr. Popular, Mr. People, Mr. the one who is currently like carrying the flag and the brand of the UFC, right? So hold on to that, right? And we're gonna go deep into deep. We're gonna talk a little bit about it, right? Compared to Francis Ngannou, where everybody is now on the UFC side is kind of rejecting, saying that he wouldn't beat Cyril Gane, he wouldn't beat Jon Jones if the two met, and that on top of that he's scared of Jon Jones, right? He's scared of fighting Jon Jones, and this is on top of all the little thing that they talk about him, like him being greedy and all these stupidity that is being spread into on the social network. The first thing that I want to do before we carry on is first ask you, obviously, to subscribe and also to like. That will be greatly appreciated. And one thing that we have to put to rest right away, and if I need to do a little video to a little bit explain that, I would do one. But the baddest man on the planet, let's explain that thing. The UFC has a champion, and that champion is Jon Jones, right? Definitely, we agree all on that. What the UFC have lost, right, is the baddest man on the planet. Right now, the baddest man on the planet has signed with the PFL and is in the roster of the PFL, right? Doing those super fights. Now, if anybody wants to have the title of the baddest man on the planet, they have to beat Francis Ngannou, right? So if somebody from, example, the PFL beats Francis Ngannou, that guy is going to become the baddest man on the planet, not Jon Jones. I mean, how can you become the baddest man on the planet from across the street? Francis Ngannou told him, cross the street, I'm waiting for you, and all of the guys from the PFL are ready to sign you up. Not sign you up like, okay, you'll be part of the PFL, but sign up to do a co-promotion, right? So if Jon Jones want to be the baddest man of the planet, if the UFC want to have the baddest man on the planet back, right? So let's do a real unification title, right? Title fight. Let's do a real one, because what the mimicking that they're doing in the UFC, like calling unification fight, right? You're inside of the same inside of the same company is totally hilarious. It's totally ridiculous. Right? Let's do a real unification fight. Let's do a co-promotion. I mean, like they do in boxing. I mean, WBA, WBC. Let's go. Let's go and let's see who is going to be the baddest man on the planet. That's what we're talking about. So right now, don't bug anybody on social media. Don't mess up with your mind. The baddest man on the planet, we know who he is, right? We know who he is, and this is Francis Ngannou, right? So now, let's move on, right? Because we got a title set. Jon Jones, the UFC champion, we said it. And Ngannou, the people's champion, who was also the baddest man on the planet. you already see where I'm leaning to, where I'm going to, right? When we're talking about Jones, because we are forgetting who Jon Jones really is, right? And the people who are trying to make us forget that are your Chael Sonnen, right? And your example, Brendan Schaub, right? I was going to add Daniel Cormier and all that because at the end of the day, they're part of the UFC, right? They're in the UFC. They're employed by Dana White. They receive a little bit of that cash and that shut up money, right? And that follow what we're saying money. So they have to kind of back up a little bit Jon Jones. But at the end of the day, who is Jon Jones, my man? Who is Jon Jones compared to Francis Ngannou, right? When we're saying that, yeah, the biggest draw, like being a champion, right, was only to be that guy who beats everybody else. I do believe that to be a real champion, to be a complete champion, it's not only all about like beating up somebody in the octagon, right? Because once you finish beating somebody in the octagon, I mean, the most time that you spend, you're going to spend it outside in the public eye, right? You're going to spend it like doing interviews, right? You're going to spend it like doing maybe social events, right? Being interviewed by ESPN or other media, right? And let me tell you about Jon Jones a little bit, since you're forgetting about this guy and you're seeing what I'm seeing here, right? And you're asking yourself the question, right? Why did the PFL give that much money, that much freedom, that much power to Francis Ngannou, right? How come they did that? Give him the leadership of the PFL Africa, right? What did they do such a thing, right? Well, you're going to understand it because what you have in front of you, the guys that Chael Sonnen like to love, right? He's promoting, he's praising, calling champ and all that, right? He's nothing but a criminal at the end of the day, right? I'm going to tell you what that guy is made of, right? What he's all about, right? Especially when you hear those guys like Chael Sonnen, like Dana White really give praises around Jon Jones, right? And I'm just going to stick to that because otherwise I'm going to, to do another video of 30 minutes, and I don't want to do another video of 30 minutes. I just want to concentrate on the type of champion that we have. So Jon Jones, basically the only champion that you have here and that is relevant as a champion is the fact that he's beating everybody in the octagon. And when I say everybody, I say every lightweight. And so far he has beaten only one heavyweight. So second thing, not only is he not the baddest man on the planet, the UFC doesn't have the baddest man on the planet, but also he is far from being the GOAT of the heavyweight division, because right now, since Francis Ngannou is now with the PFL, right, I would say that the GOAT of the heavyweight division really is Stipe Miocic. He is the heavyweight. He's done more in the heavyweight division than Jon Jones has done, right, so far. That criminal of Jon Jones has done so far, right? So let's see a little bit who is that guy that we're praising so much, that we want to move in front of actually the GOAT of the heavyweight division, that is Stipe Miocic. Let's see what this guy is all about, right? The guy that Chael Sonnen is praising, right? Let's see who he is. So, notable Jon Jones incident, right? Let's go. Charged with misdemeanor, battery, domestic violence, right? So, what do you have, right, as a champion? This is your champion, right? The guy who's carrying your logo, the guy who's carrying your flag, the guy who's promoting your company, the UFC. That's your champion. Right? The guy who's promoting your brand, that's him. Accused and charged with misdemeanor, battery, domestic violence. So, a woman beater, right? A woman beater. That's what we have here as a champion in the UFC, approved by Dana White, approved by Chael Sonnen, and backed up by Chael Sonnen, backed up by Dana White, backed up by Brendan Schaub. And don't forget that these guys are trashing Francis Ngannou. That's funny. But at the same time, It's ridiculous. It's to cry about, right? And you hear all that ranting about when Francis Ngannou is trying to answer question at Le Bâtard show, right? You hear Chael Sonnen say that he's speaking badly about the UFC. He's just answering questions, you dumbass. He's answering questions, right? So here we go. I mean, that's your champion right now. The guy who's carrying the brand, a criminal, right? Misdemeanor, battery, domestic violence. That's a good image for the UFC. That's fantastic. Just remember that when you hear Chael Sonnen, when you hear Dana White, when you hear anybody giving praises on Jon Jones, right? Now it's not finished, right? I mean, this is already big, but it's not even over. 2020, what happened? He got arrested for aggravated. I mean, not just DWI, aggravated DWI. Right? He got arrested for that, right? Driving with, how do you call that, right? Driving with, while intoxicated. Driving while intoxicated. And what happened during that time? Well, basically, man, car crash, ran into the car of a pregnant woman. And you know what? That super champion of the UFC, that guy that carries the flag, that's so bright, that's so unbelievable. That champion that is adulated, that is loved by Chael Sonnen, that is backed up by Chael Sonnen because he's a good person. We have to believe that, right? We have to believe because it's Chael Sonnen, right? I mean, Chael Sonnen is a good-looking guy, seems pretty intelligent, right? I don't know how old he is. Maybe he's about 45, 50 or maybe a little bit more. I don't know, right? 60, I don't know. He looks more 60 than 50, but he says that he's a little bit less. So he's adulated by this guy, Chael Sonnen, right? And that's your champion right now. Arrested for aggravated DWI, right? Crashing into a woman's car, right? And leaving the scene of the incident, of the accident. Leaving that poor woman there without any assistance. That woman could have died. And the guy didn't even took his responsibilities. And you want that guy to go fight. How do you call these type of guys that don't take, that don't take care of their responsibility? You call that coward. That's the word, right? I think that you Chael Sonnen used that word against who? Deontay Wilder? That's what right? Against Deontay Wilder. The way that, I mean, last time I checked, right? Deontay Wilder got knocked down like I don't know how many times and showed the heart of a lion and never gave up against Tyson Fury, right? That's what I hear, right? So he's there. He was fought till the end, right? Do or die. But what did that coward do? Crashed into the car of a pregnant woman and fled, took his leg and fled the scene of the accident without any assistance to that woman. And she could have died, right? That's your champion. That's the guy who's carrying the flag of the UFC. Remember that, Chael Sonnen. Remember that, Dana White. When you're talking and when we're backing up your paper champion, right? Remember that, right? DWI, driving while intoxicated, right? Now, I'm just leaving the side of the firearms because, I mean, there's so much to say, so much and so little time. I won't have the time because his rap shit is pretty long. And look at the title, right? It says notable Jon Jones incident. Notable. So it means that they dropped a lot of it, right? And just kept the one that maybe are shining more or the more important. Now, let's go to 2018, right? Because the guy is not only like a woman beater, he's not only like driving while intoxicated and a coward and not taking care of his responsibilities. That's already enough for the UFC, right? I mean, carrying the flag of that's beautiful, right? That's a good publicity for the UFC. We love that. He's awesome. That guy really is going to attract a lot of eyes to the UFC, right? So what happened in 2018? 2018, he got his license revoked. Why? Because he failed a drug test, right? He failed a drug test. Not only is he already, right, a woman beater, not only doesn't he take his responsibility, not only is he a coward because he left a poor woman that he just crashed his car into without assistance, but on top of that, the guy is a cheater. On top of that, the guy is a cheater, right? He failed the drug test, and you know what? Not once, but twice. Twice he failed the drug test. And on top of that, after that, what do we have? He got tested positive for cocaine. I mean, I don't know about you, but if that's your champion of the UFC, right? If that's the guy that is representing your brand, and don't, I'm forgetting 2015, the felony hit and run charge, right? The felony hit and run charge. I'm pretty sure maybe that might be the pregnant woman, or also there was a case where I don't know. I'm going to go back here. And by the way, he looks good in orange. Basically, you're a champion, if you ask me, right? So here he is. So 2015, arrested for his involvement in a hit and run. Exactly. So that was that one in 2015. He's related to here in 2015 to felony hit and run. The accident with that pregnant woman, where he left that poor woman there without any assistance, and left and fled like a coward without meeting his responsibility towards that woman, right? And that's your champion. That's the one who is the poster boy for your brand. That's him. Jones, Boneless Jones. That's him. Or Jon Chicken Jones. Whichever one you want to take here, right? And you can see it clearly. Arrested for his involvement in a hit and run that saw him leave the scene after crashing into a car driven by a pregnant man. Thank you. I mean, that's so great, Chell. We are happy that you back up that guy, right? We are happy that you ask us to praise that guy, to be behind that guy 100%. We love that, Chell. A criminal that you ask us to be behind a criminal. 219, right? Charged for allegedly slapping, choking a waitress in a strip club. I mean, not only this guy, this guy has a habit of hating women, or of thinking that women are just object with which he can do everything he wants, anything he wants. And that's the superstar that you want. That's the guy that you want to be the poster boy for your brand, Mr. Dana Boy. Because actually, at the end of the day, this is Dana White approved. This is UFC approved. This is Chael Sonnen approved. And I guess this is Brendan Schaub approved. That's what I'm understanding. And what's going on today? Domestic violence. That's the one today, right? That's the one that we have. I think that is kind of enough, right? That's I rest my case on that, right? On who is Jon Jones and what type of champion you guys are talking about, and try to make you understand in a way that I understand the guy has dominated the light heavyweight division, right? Trying to come into the heavyweight, and the UFC trying to make that crooked narrative, an argument that this guy is a great champion, that now the UFC has find that, man, this guy is a bomb waiting to explode in the face of the UFC, right? I'm telling you right away, and I'm counting the days until he's making his next screw up, right? To be honest with you, because he's a walking screw up, this guy is a walking screw up. So let me complete this just to say the following. You got at the head of the UFC, at the champion of the UFC, which is backed up and who is Dana White approved, UFC approved, Chael Sonnen approved, whatever. A guy who is a woman beater, the guy who is a coward, a guy who doesn't take care of his responsibilities, a guy who is a cheater because he's doping himself to win fight, right? That's what you have as a champion. Let's make it perfectly clear. That's what you have as a heavyweight champion. Now you're gonna ask me, you're talking about between Francis Ngannou and this guy, and you compare the two stories, right? You see what Francis Ngannou has accomplished, right? And you want to compare the unidimensional status of Jon Jones as just being a guy that beats people in the octagon, while Ngannou is doing exactly the same, but doing so much all around it, and also having a history that is so legendary. I mean, he's got his history that is like legendary, Rocky Balboa type of shit. I don't know, Alexander the Great type of shit, fighting against the Persian, like 50,000 against 150,000, right? I mean, this is what you have. You have the type of the type of legendary, like I don't know, Julius Caesar fighting the Gauls, right? That's the type of things that you have with Francis Ngannou. So it is, I mean, this is what you get when you get Francis Ngannou. When you get Jon Jones, what do you have? You have a criminal that can beat up people in the octagon, right? That's what you have. So what is he going to tell you, man, when you put it in ESPN? What is he going to tell you kids, Chelsonen or Dana White? What? He's going to teach your kid how to beat up a woman like without leaving any trace? Oh yeah, that's going to be very useful, and we love that. We love that kind of things, right? Oh, he's going to tell you how to drive with being intoxicated, and maybe he's going to even to give you like the best type of drugs to take to be able to do that. Or he's going to tell you how to do right when you have an accident, you know, just to flee like a little coward, right? Bang! Just to flee and leave everybody and don't take care of your responsibilities, right? That's what he's going to show you. So that's the type of champion you have, right? So if you ask me between Ngannou, if you ask me between Ngannou and Jon Jones, if you ask me like who do you want to take, I'll take Ngannou every second of every day, boy. That's who I take, because I know that from people's perspective, from network perspective, this is the guy who sells, right? This is the guy who's going to take my company to the next level. And to be honest with you, the reason why the Dana Whites of this world are so upset is because they know they fumbled that bag. They know that they cannot count on a guy like Jon Jones, right? They know that. He's a criminal. That guy carrying the flag of the UFC or the flag of anything, right, is a disgrace. Is a disgrace. They should be ashamed. It's shameful. You understand me? And this guy daring to call out Fury, right, for a fight, a criminal like that. I mean, he should be happy if when Fury is calling out his name, that he should be really happy. You know what I mean? I don't even think that he deserves to fight against a guy like Francis Ngannou. They shouldn't even give him the attention that they're giving him now. This is a phony champion. He's not even the champion, to be honest with you. Who has he beaten in the heavyweight division? A guy that Francis Ngannou has beaten like with one leg, and that's what you want to talk about. And now you want to say that, oh, he's going to face or be careful, because Stipe is not to joke with, right? Stipe is not to joke with. So I rest my case, guys. Tell me what you think about this. I think that this is very important. I don't think that this guy should be there. He's going to tell what to people, you know, when he's on the network, like, okay, you have to beat your woman like that. You have to drink this type of stuff. That's the way that you have to cheat, right? You have to put that potion, that drug, that mixture. And after 2 or 3 weeks or 1 week, you pee a lot, drink a lot of water, and it's gone. It's not in your blood anymore. Well, you got caught. You got caught like at least 2 or 3 times. 3 times, actually, you got caught. You're a freaking cheater. You're a freaking woman beater, and you're a coward. I would say, leaving a woman like that to her own, right? Leaving the scene of that accident. That's not a champion for me, right? And if that's the champion of the UFC, bro, well, let me tell you what. Keep your champion. Keep your champion. Keep him, and especially don't let him go. Please keep him. I'm telling it again. If that's your champion, and if that's the guy that is carrying the brand of the UFC, that is carrying that brand, right? If that's your poster boy, Chelsonen, well, keep him and let him around your kids. I mean, they're going to learn a lot of stuff, for sure. They're going to learn a lot of stuff. I'm not sure that is the kind of stuff that you would like them to learn, but they're going to learn a lot of it. But in the meantime, keep your champion to yourself. We are good. We are all good with Francis Ngannou that doesn't sell, like you say, a lot of pay-per-view. Okay? All good. So peace, everyone. please give me your opinion on all this, because it gets me a little bit fired up, right? When I hear all this stupidity about people backing up Jon Jones now and trashing Francis Ngannou. It just doesn't make any sense, and it just doesn't get any more stupid than it can get. All right. So peace, everyone. Have a good one.